Hello, everyone. I'm Bo from Brutal Commentary, and today I'm gonna be breaking down our featured prelim for UFC Fight Night 269. This is going to be a very fun clash. We have Bruno Bulldog Silva taking on Charles Energy Johnson, two flyweight veterans at this point. I say mostly veterans because they are on the older side. They're both 35, though Silva will be closer to 36 than Johnson, and both have relatively a lot of UFC experience at this point. Both are aggressive in different ways, though, but both are willing to engage in the scrambles and striking exchanges, and both have the ability to finish fights. So the big question in this fight is whether Silva's explosiveness can overwhelm Johnson early, or whether Johnson's pace and cardio take over as the fight progresses. Now, looking at our two fighters, starting with Charles Johnson. He's currently 18-8 as a professional, 3-2 in his last 5 fights. He was on a very nice win streak, Charles Johnson, which include knocking out the current champion Joshua Van, winning a good decision against Sumadarchi, who after that loss is now on a nice 3-fight win streak. Then lost a fight to Ramazan Timarov, where notice Timarov did get popped for something on that, so a little sus. Then most recently in his latest win, knocked out Loner Kavanagh, who's now a top contender. And then most recently, literally last January, this January, got knocked out by Alex Perez. That fight was about a month ago. About a month ago, even a little bit longer, a month and a week, but still, Charles Johnson got knocked out not that long ago. But even then, Charles Johnson, he's very good at defeating these undefeated prospects. Took Loner Kavanagh's the first person to beat Joshua Van in the UFC. Though you look at how good they are right now, Loner Kavanagh and Joshua Van, and including Sumadarchi. That was Sumadarchi's last loss was to Charles Johnson. It just seems inevitable. You lose to Charles Johnson, you will be blessed by greatness. Because one's a champion, one's a top contender, and one's on a 3-fight win streak. That says a lot. I don't know how it works. He is the Michael Johnson of featherweight, that is for sure. Of flyweight, that is for sure. Now, looking at Bruno Silva. He's currently 15-7-2 as a professional, 3-2 in his last 5 fights as well. Silva himself was on a good win streak too, which included finishes over Tyson Nam and Cody Durden, but then recently got finished pretty badly in his last 2 losses to Manel Kopp and Joshua Van, but got on a nice win, but got a nice rebound win against Hyung-Sung Park. So it'll be interesting, especially like I said, Charles Johnson coming back in a little over a month now. That is a crazy turnabout. This is also short notice for Johnson. It was actually supposed to be Loner Kavanagh before it all got switched up due to a Suam Abayev pulling out. So though, I think this is going to be a banger for sure. Now, with that said, let's get down to the breakdown. Starting with Bruno Silva. He is definitely the type of fighter who brings chaos into a fight. Silva, even at like 35, like I said, next month he'll be 36. He is very aggressive, consistently moving forward, and always looking to land big shots or create scrambles. Even though, relatively speaking, Bruno Silva is on the short side of flyweight, like he's 5'4". Silva, he makes up for it with that speed and explosiveness on the feet. Silva is very dangerous in the pocket. He throws tight combinations, has legitimate one-punch power for this division, and is comfortable trading in close exchanges. But Silva isn't just a striker. He's very capable on the ground. He's a good scrambler. He has shown a good ability to find submissions. And if an opponent makes a mistake during those grappling exchanges, Silva will take the opportunity when presented. But because of that well-rounded threat, Silva is definitely one of the more dangerous, well-rounded finishers in the division. The key for Silva will be starting fast and forcing Johnson into chaotic exchanges where his explosiveness is going to shine. Now, for Charles Johnson, he is a very experienced flyweight as well. He's going to be the taller fighter for sure. I mean, he's pretty big for the division at 5'9", and with that 70-inch reach, he beats a lot of his contemporaries in the reach advantage. Johnson, very good at fighting at wide range and a very well-rounded skill set, though more so a striker than a grappler. Physically, like I said, Charles Johnson, he's tall and longer in this matchup, which is going to be very important for him controlling distance. And his striking is, I think, a bit more measured in comparison to Silva's aggression. As Charles Johnson, he tends to pick his spots well, work behind his reach advantage, and maintain a steady pace throughout the fight. And one of the biggest advantages for Charles Johnson is cardio. Historically, Johnson he tends to get stronger as the fight goes on. I mean, you saw it second round or the second half of round 2 against Loner Kavanaugh. He knocked him out, knocked out Charles Johnson in the third round, and has done relatively good, including in losses, in winning the third round and looking good by the end of the fight, like against Mohamed Mokaev or Rafael Esteban. Johnson's looked good in those as well. And it's very common to see Johnson winning or, like I said, looking better in the third round as his opponents begin to slow. Another area where Johnson has improved recently in his power. In his recent performances, you see Johnson landing with more authority, like I said, knocking out Joshua Van, who's historically pretty tough, and Loner Kavanaugh too. One concern coming into this fight is the timing. Like I said, getting knocked out by Alex Perez very recently is a question, at least a question mark on the durability of Johnson and how soon he has recovered in that fight. But looking at it stylistically, this fight likely comes down to pace and distance. Silva is probably going to look to close the distance quickly and create aggressive exchanges. Johnson, on the other hand, will likely try to manage the range, use his length, and avoid getting drawn into Silva's explosive pocket fighting. If Silva can make the fight chaotic early, he has a good chance of landing something big or creating a scramble where his grappling is dangerous. But if Johnson can maintain his composure, keep the fight at his preferred range, and push the pace into the later rounds, the momentum shifts heavily in his favor. So for my final assessment, while Silva is dangerous early and could absolutely create problems with his aggression and power, but I think over the course of 3 rounds, I think Johnson's cardio and ability to maintain distance might be the deciding factor. And if Johnson survives the early pressure and keep the fight at his pace, I think his work rate and conditioning could overwhelm Silva as the fight progresses. So for my official prediction, I'm going to go with Charles Johnson, and I'm probably going to pick him via decision. I can see a late TKO too. I can see him tiring out Bruno Silva by the third and winning a third round finish. But I think the decision is more likely where Johnson wins the second and then wins the third while Silva wins the first. Something akin to that. And like I said, Silva will likely have moments early, but I think Johnson's laying pace and cardio should allow him to take over as the fight goes on. So once again, I'm picking Charles Johnson, and I'm going to pick him via decision. Though I would completely understand if people would think late TKO. But with that being said, that has been my breakdown of this matchup. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below on who you think is going to win. But until then, I have been Bo from Brutal Commentary. I thank you all for listening. And remember, stay calm, stay respectful, and enjoy the violence. I'll see y'all next time.